Welcome back. It's another blue glove edition of Boomer Baseball. But this is Nerd Night. So I don't know if you got the memo, but tonight I'm opening Harry Potter products because not only am I a massive baseball fan and former player and whatnot enthusiast, but I'm also a nerd. So I like nerd stuff. I was a bit too old to be in on the leading edge of the Harry Potter phenomenon. I worked at a bookstore in the mall at that point. I worked at a Walden Books. And it was pretty awesome to see all the kids and their enthusiasm for Harry Potter and their parents, and all their support. It was just a really cool thing to see all that juvenile literacy going on. Goosebumps books, people were going crazy for Goosebumps and what is that other one? It's a girls' book. It's about like the two Babysitters Club or something like that. Yeah, that was a popular one. But Harry Potter just blew everything out of the water. And I'm a Magic the Gathering guy. And around that same time where I think it was like Urza Saga, maybe late Urza Saga. Yeah, maybe like Urza's Legacy. So again, if you're not a nerd, you probably think I'm speaking some sort of foreign dialect. But I think Magic was going through the Urza block. And these came out 2001. But yeah, this stuff kind of missed me. But I was a big fan of audiobooks. I used to do a lot of painting. I used to do Warhammer. I used to do it for a living. I used to compete in shows. I used to do White Dwarf articles for their magazine. I used to paint some miniatures. So like I said, big nerd. And when I would do that, I would listen to audiobooks and I would listen to old-time radio shows. So if you don't know what old-time radio is, it's the stuff that predates like TV. Before there was like TVs, people used to use the theater of the imagination, which is like old-time radio. So you'd gather around the radio and listen to not only the news, but you would listen to like serials. Serials are basically, not to be confused with food, but like cereals with an S. They were like everyday installments of your favorite show, whether it was like Superman or like if you've ever seen The Christmas Story with Little Orphan Annie. That stuff was real, and that's how they sold Pomade. That's how they sold, all sorts of different types of stuff. The advertisers, they would pay for slots on those radio shows, so it was pretty cool. But anyway, so old-time radio is my favorite. I love the detective stuff. I love Philip Marlowe. If you've never heard of Philip Marlowe, check it out. It's all in the public domain now because it's all ancient, so like it's free 99. Philip Marlowe's this kind of pulp kind of detective, and it's real cool, man. It's good stuff. Like, it's easy listening if you have an imagination, if you have some patience, if you have a little like internal fortitude, you can really find a lot of entertainment in that old stuff. I mean, not all of it's redeeming. There's some really garbage stuff, just like anything. But anyway, point is, I used to love old-time radio. I used to love audiobooks. And I used to listen to the BBC dramatized production of The Lord of the Rings. And I had the box set. I think at the time when I bought it, it was like $60. Like, cost a bloody fortune. I mean, there's a lot of money back then. We're talking like early 2000s or late 90s or something. And I bought this BBC production. I think it was right around contemporary with the first Lord of the Rings movie. And I used to listen to that thing like all the time, just front to back, because it's just engaging, interesting. There's something like that you can just find comfort in something that suits your palate, It's not like listening to like pop music, Pop music is like, there's some stuff you can it's hit and miss, You can listen to it and there's some stuff you really like, and then there's 5 or 6 songs you can't stand or you just are mediocre about or middling about. And then you got to listen to stupid commercials for 15 minutes. So like, I hated pop radio. I mean, I had CDs and music, but anyways, so my wife got sick of listening to the BBC production of Lord of the Rings. And we were on a road trip, so she bought me the Sorcerer's Stone. by J.K. Rowling. The first Harry Potter book on audio CD, read by Jim Dale. Now, there's two different voiceover artists that do the Harry Potter series, and one of them is Jim Dale, who I think is amazing, and the other one is some other guy. I don't know his name. Some people swear by him, but I've never heard him. Actually, I did hear some of his stuff, and it's nice. He has a real like dignified voice, but Jim Dale has a real whimsical voice with like lots of I don't know if the word's inflection. Maybe I'm using it wrong. I'm not a literature major, so what do I know? But he just has a certain quality that's fun to listen to. As to where the old other guy, who I don't remember his name, who's not Jim Dale, he just didn't have the same thing going that I enjoyed. But anyway, it brought me into the Harry Potter franchise. So I listened to the Sorcerer's Stone on a road trip driving from Arizona to California in the middle of the night. And it was fantastic. It was engaging, man. I was an older dude, you know. I'm like not a Harry Potter kind of guy. I'm a nerd. Like I love all kinds of like old children's books from when we were kids, but like I hadn't heard anything like it. It was really cool. And it got me. And I became a big Harry Potter fan. So I read all the books, and the books are fantastic. They make the movies look stupid. The movies are cool, I guess, for what they are. But honestly, the books are fantastic, and the audiobooks are, I think, even better. I mean, it's nice to be able to multitask. You can do stuff. You can walk around and get chores done and listen to the audiobook and keep yourself occupied and keep yourself motivated and kind of, generate some fun imagery in your head, It brings all that stuff to life. And then when you watch the movies, you'll see how they dumbed it down. But it's like everything else. I mean, talk to anybody and it's like the book was better, right? So what's even better than a book? Not having to sit and read the book, but let somebody read it to you. So that's audiobooks, right? But anyway, nowadays it's all podcasts. So I kind of, I fought the instinct to get into these, but I was at a secondhand like toy shop, like collectible shop over on, I think it's on, was it Burbank Boulevard off of like Hollywood Way? And it's a big old store. And somebody in there, one of the vendors, they had like a binder full of these Harry Potter cards. And I've seen these before. And these were made by Wizards of the Coast, the same people that make Magic cards. And they made them back in like 2001. And this is the base set. This is what they call the base set. There's like 3 different like package variations. There's the owl. There's the kids going to Hogwarts when they first get in, as they first see Hogwarts, which is pretty awesome. There's another one with an owl, or you'd probably say it's Hedwig, Harry Potter's actual owl. And then there's this one, which is the Sorting Hat. So there's Harry talking to the Sorting Hat, if you know the story. So that's pretty rad. And again, there's the kids in the little self-guided boats going across the water towards the castle. Pretty cool stuff. And then Hedwig, which is, I'm assuming is Hedwig. But yeah, so there was a whole folder of these things, and I was like, holy cow, these are really cool. Now I can, like, as a collector of cards and of pop culture crap and a fan of Harry Potter, I thought I could really, like, just buy the whole collection. So I looked at the binder, and I noticed they didn't have a lot of, like, the hologram cards, which are, like, the premium chase cards, the foils. And the ones they did have were, like, well, they were like, mutilated. They looked like they were out, like, on the playground getting scuffed, so, like, it wasn't very good quality. So even though it was fairly cheap, I passed on it because I'm a bit OCD when it comes to, like, the quality of things. I like to kind of be the first owner. I mean, I don't mind, like, secondhand, like, old school baseball cards, don't get me wrong. But I do prefer them to have them, like, closer to pack fresh, as much as possible. So anyway, I started collecting these Harry Potter cards. I think I have, like, 2 packs of this one. This is the Diagon Alley. This is Diagon Alley. Like, this is I think the first subset. I think it's this one, Diagon Alley, and then I think there's Quidditch, and then there's Chamber of Secrets is the last one. I think there's like Adventures in Hogwarts. And I'm missing one. I think there's like 5 total sets they came out with before they discontinued the line. So this is the second or the first subset or the first expansion. And then this is the base set. So these are what they call base cards. So I'm starting off with the base cards. I have some already in sleeves. And I put the ones that I pack fresh pulled and I put them in sleeves. And I stacked up the sleeves in numerical order so that as I pull these cards and get unique cards that I don't already have, I can just slot them in. So, to be a nerd, right? It's tough. It ain't easy being cheesy, man. But here, let's crack into some of these and just take a look-see. Now, mind you, the art is a bit primitive. Like, this is not like... These are beautiful, man. Look at that. And one of these days, I mean, I think right about now, these things are like $5-6 a pack. You can find them for like $4 a pack, but you can, and people sell them as high as like $10 a piece. So, you know, it's old stuff. But let's get into it. Enough pre-ramble. Let's check out the goodies. Here, let me just scoot these off camera because they're kind of screwing with the focus there. Oh, and let me see, is that plugged in? Of course not. Why would it be? Let me check my light. Oops, sorry. Typical amateur hour here. Amateur hour. All right, don't worry about it. And that, I don't know if that helps. All right, let's try it. Let's see what we got here. We got Noxious Poison. Spell card. Pretty cool. Then we got Borrowed Wand. So that would be like the second Harry Potter movie where Ron's wand gets broken and he tries to patch it with spell tape and then it backfires horrifically. Vermilius, Illegibilis, Giant Tarantula. That's pretty cool. That looks like a Weasley, but could be any red-headed dude. Magical Mishap. I think it looks like a scene from the books when somebody's cauldron starts exploding. Apothecary. Bluebell Flames. This is a spell that Hermione mastered, I think, pretty early on. So they have these lessons cards. There's the potions. Transfiguration. And I think this is the rare. Is this the rare? I don't know how to tell. Yeah, it has a star. So there's like a star designation here in the corner. Right there. Star designation. And this is card 31 of 116. Owl Delivery. Or, excuse me, Delivery Owl. Pretty cool. I don't have most of those. I'm assuming if you're still with me, either you just have nothing better to do or you like watching people open stuff, or you just like Harry Potter, or some of the above, but I appreciate it. A Boil Cure. I think this is when like Neville got hit with some like cactus sap and he had like big boils on his face. Curious Raven. Epoximus. So like they glued something down with like an epoxy. Fluffy Falls Asleep. Guard Dog. Should be like Hagrid's dog. Fumos, which looks like the pyrotechnic or like a flammable version of Fumos. Care of Magical Creatures. Apparently you have to have this lesson in your deck if you want to play creatures. I did not know how this game worked, but I still haven't played this game, by the way. But I love the cards. I think they're cool. Charms. And, oh, cool. Troll in the bathroom. Thought you should know. Oh, look at it. That's nice. What a cool deal, man. Look at that. Troll in the bathroom. The shouting, the echoes seem to be driving the troll berserk. True dat, bro. That's cool, man. All right. Let's see what else we get. Oh, fun. Such frivolous ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. All right, let's see. Giant tarantula again. Mishap again. Squiggle quill. Pet rat. That would be like Ron's pet rat. Scabbers. Those ones again. Winged keys. This is from when Harry's got to solve the different little puzzles at the end of the first book to be able to go find Quirrell, who's trying to steal the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone. Peeves causes trouble. That's all he does. You gotta watch out for that step, or you'll fall through it. Care of magical creatures, charms, and transfiguration test. Pretty cool. Yeah, these are, I think, the base series, the ones I'm opening currently, from 2001, the first release. 116 cards in the set, and a box, a sealed box in nice condition. It's like $350, $400 these days. I don't know if it's 24 packs a box or 36. I haven't looked into it. Snape's question. I don't know, sir, said Harry. Snape's lips curled into a sneer. And this is when Snape is sussing out Harry in the beginning of the book, kind of being rude. Harry says, you should ask Hermione. She seems to know. Dung bomb. I guess like stink bomb. Pewter cauldron. These have a tendency to melt, I think. But I think first years can only have pewter. I think in the books, Harry wants to get like a brass or a gold cauldron or a silver cauldron, but I think like pewter cauldrons are like what first years use. Pomfrey's pick-me-up. It's Madame Pomfrey. Madame Pomfrey came over at that moment. Great quote. Great story. Unusual pets. There's Norbert, the little dragon. He's on his mummy. It's a hatchling. Note from Hagrid. Another great quote. This one is pretty funny. Look at the artwork on this. I mean, that looks some like... I think this is supposed to be Crab and Goyle. I don't know which is which. But look at Harry. He looks like Waldo. I mean, that's some real Where's Waldo stuff. Hunting Harry. Desperately seeking Susan. Harry. Alright. Let's see what else they got. Very excited about this. This is very fun. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not baseball cards. Next week. I got a bunch of stuff coming in. Fluffy falls asleep. In a few seconds' silence, the dog growled and twitched. But the moment Hermione began to play, it fell back into its deep sleep. Ooh, vicious wolf. Righto. A boa constrictor. Brazil. Here I come. Thanks, amigo. That's the snake talking to Harry. Giant tarantula. The boy lifted the lid of a box, and in his arms the people around him shrieked and yelled, and something inside poked out a long hairy leg. Snape's question. Where can I find a bazour? I don't know, sir. But you should ask Hermione. She seems to know. Hiding from Snape. There's Harry in the invisibility cloak. Apparate. Now, nobody really apparates out of Hogwarts, so that's kind of except for, I think, Dumbledore. Oh, bother. Another hunting Harry. Bloody hell. It's the same one again. Harry. Rome. Alright. Steel Claw. That's a bit ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look at those claws. That's ridiculous. Out of the woods. In a matter of seconds, though, he was wide-eyed as Harry began to tell him and Hermione what happened in the forest. This is where they first met Voldemort, when he was like some sort of like spirit floating around the haunted forest and sucking the blood of a unicorn to stay alive. Pretty freaky for a kid's book. Potion's mistake. Here you are to learn the subtle science and exact art of potion making. Even put a stopper into death. It doesn't say that I made that. I added that. Homework. They're always copying Hermione. It was really lucky that Harry now had Hermione as a friend. He didn't know how he had gotten through all of his homework without her. Yep. Cauldron to sieve. Somebody poked a bunch of holes in the cauldron and it's turned into a sieve. Forgetfulness potion. Snape made them all nervous, breathing down their necks while they tried to remember how to make the forgetfulness potion. Dog breath potion. Halitosis maxima. Apothecary. Generic. Magical creatures, charms, and shrinking potion. Well, that really wasn't in the movie, but that's cool. I don't think that wasn't even in the books. Harry, I've shrunken the kids. Ron. That would be so dim-witted. All right, let's see. Lost notes. I think this is when they're trying to find out who, what Hagrid took from Gringotts with Nicholas Flamel. And what is this? Bobilius? No idea. Bobilius. Makes a bubble. Hagrid and the Stranger. Yeah, I got a lot of funny folks in the Hogshead. That's the pud down in the village. I never saw his face. He kept his hood up. This is where he got Norbert. Norbert, the dragon egg that hatched. Homework again. Borrowed wand. Borrowed 1-1. Forest troll. It was holding a huge wooden club, which it dragged along the floor because its arms were so long. That was a mountain troll, not a forest troll. That's from the book. Potions. Oh, here we go. I've got another foil. Righto. Human chess game. That's cool. That's really cool. Pack fresh foils. In traditional Wizards fashion, they are Pringled. So if you're not if you don't really know about like quality of foils in Magic the Gathering, which is a multi-billion-dollar business these days, they do this thing where, unlike Pokemon and some other TCG card games where they use foils, and really aggressive foils, Magic the Gathering can't seem to figure out how to print a card that doesn't buckle and look like crap. They even have rules against it. So like in tournament play, if the card has like this kind of bend to it, like they'll consider it like a marked card. But it's like, bro, you marked it with your horrible quality control. It's not even quality control, it's just design. It's like how they fabricate the card, the layers of material, and the printing process that creates that bend with the foiling. So, whatever. Toe biter. Don't recall that, really. Squiggle quill again. Incarciphores. I'm glad we didn't have to fight that one, Harry whispered as they stepped carefully over one of its massive legs. I'm imagining they're talking about Fluffy. And this would be Hagrid's dog I'm blanking out on. When Harry knocked, they heard a frantic scrabbling from inside and several booming barks. Shoot, I'm glitching. I can't recall the name of that dog. Oh well. They have to like watch him later. His name was Scabbers. His name is Scabbers, and he's useless. He hardly ever wakes up. Ronald Weasley. That's a quote. Dog breath potion again. Snuffling potion again. Sneezy potion. Transfiguration. Care of magical creatures. Oh, cool. Look at that. Platform 9 3/4. Walk straight through the barrier between the two platforms 9 and 10. Don't stop, and don't be scared or you'll crash into it. Molly Weasley. Look at me with the impressions. What a narrator. I'm a regular Jim Dale. Not really. Let's go on then. Crack on. Go on then. Open it proper. Scabbers again. Boil cure again. Epoxamize again. Snape's question for the third time. Dung bomb again. Pewter cauldron. There's a new one. Logic puzzle. This is a good one. It's all logic. Yeah. Hermione let out a great sigh, and Harry, amazed, saw that she was smiling. This is where I would have been toast. There's no way I would have got that one. That's when they're trying to get, at the end of the first book, they're trying to get themselves to where Voldemort is trying to steal the Sorcerer's Stone with Quirrell. Professor Quirrell, who is currently hosting Voldemort's demonic persona in the back of his head. Shrinking potion again. That's a generic card, and I don't like it. It's the second one we've gotten in the rare slot. It's a bulky junk rare. I don't approve. Fluffy falls asleep. Team Jacob, Vicious Wolf, Boa Constrictor, Tarantula again, Snape's question again. There's a new one. Foul Brew. Ron Spencer is the artist here. See, there's Ron Spencer. Ron Spencer did a ton of Magic the Gathering cards, and I love them. I think Phyrexian... oh, geez, I'm blanking. Dude, getting old sucks. There's an Urza Saga card. Phyrexian... oh, man, it's like $100 and something card. Anyway, Ron Spencer drew it. Carry on. Draco's Trick. Logic Puzzle. Potions. Transfiguration. Cool, at least we got a new one. History of Magic. Easily the most boring lesson was History of Magic. The teacher's an old dead guy. He's like super boring. Doesn't that sound like most kids' version of history class? Just a bunch of dead guys who are boring. I'm the other way around, man. I love freaking history. But I'm a weirdo. Anyway. And this one again. Incarcerators? Like incarceration, but incarcerators? Whatever. Surly Hound, Forest Troll, Pet Rat. Eligibles. Steel Claw. Oh, cool. We got cages. Cage. I think these are like the little pixies. Cornish pixies from like the second book. See what you make of them. Kelpies. The mountains around the school became icy gray, and the lake was like chilled steel. It's a word burger. Chilled steel. Kelpies. Oh my word. Did that just happen? Oh my god. Alright, I've got a lot to say here. I hope you're not sick of my crap fake British voice, because I'm going to continue. I'm not going to continue. That's awful. I'm annoying myself. I'm just thoroughly stoked. Alright. So this is the Harry Potter card. This is like a banger, as the kids say. Holy crap. Holy crap, it is clean. It's centered. It's not scratched. It's not chipped. Is that a scratch? Oh, there's a touch on it. There's a little touch. Bloody hell. I think it's a 9. I'd say it's a 9.
if it's not a 10, like a PSA 9 or a 10. If it was a 10, it would be like thousands of dollars, I think. But in a 9, it's only hundreds of dollars.
Whoa, that's awesome, guys. Look at that. Wow. This is one of the cards I feared collecting, because I know me, I want a good one. And I also know me, I don't want to pay a lot of money for nonsense. And this set is just a frivolous, nonsensical kind of like, it's a fun thing to do, but it's not a priority of mine. Look at that hologram. Guys, that's really cool. So if you don't know what you're looking at, this thing is like it's a really cool card. I mean, it's Harry Potter, for God's sakes. But it's in mint condition, pack fresh, and it was illustrated by Scott M. Fisher, who's one of the greatest Magic the Gathering illustrators ever. Look at that. Oh my word. Alright. Golly, it's got like a little bit of dust on it. I don't even want to touch it with my bare hand. Fudge brownies. These things are so glossy, bro. Look at this. Look at the surface. This is a 20-something-year-old card. Look at that. And it's just dead nuts on. Now I have some double sleeves over here. I don't even know if I want to monkey with these though. These are double sleeves, what you use for like Magic the Gathering cards before you like sleeve them. I think this needs like, I don't know. I think I'll put it like, see this black border? Anybody knows anything about like baseball cards and collectibles, like you don't want to be, these black borders show every touch. And I've touched it already like a couple times and it's scaring me. So I'm just gonna set it here and try not to spit on it. Talk about last pack magic. I mean, I still have this one, but like we could pretend because it's last base card magic. Look at that bad boy. Dude, I am in love with that. I think that's amazing. Oh my word. All right, let's get this last one taken care of. Wow, I am so happy. Blue wig. So this is from the update set. See, it has the little set symbol, which would be like the inn of the Prancing Pony. Now it's the what is that place called? Crap. There's too many things to remember in life, but it's the place where they get like stuff to drink in Diagon's Alley. He'd somehow turned his teacher's wig blue. So Harry, when he was young, he didn't know how to control his magic. So on occasion, he'd lash out and do stupid stuff, like turn his teacher's wig blue. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which became like a movie eventually. A river troll. They're supposed to be really stupid, said Ron. Teacup to rat. It's gross. She came home every holiday turning teacups into rats. Petunia Dursley. So I think they're talking about Harry's mom. Harry's mom, when she went to Hogwarts and she came home, Petunia is Harry's mom's sister. And she was jelly because she wasn't a witch. I don't even know if she was a squib, which is like a half witch. She might have just been full muggle. I have no idea. But Harry's mom would come home and do all these fancy little transfiguration stuffs and piss off her sister and weird her out. Another really great science fiction illustrator, Tim and Greg Hillebrand. And one of them passed away, and I don't know which one, but they did a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff. A lot of Lord of the Rings illustrations back in the 70s and 80s. And Magic the Gathering used those for their Lord of the Rings set. The Hildebrands. Swelling Potion. Cool. Standard Book of Spells. Grade 1. Sweet. Quidditch. Care of Magical Beasts. Barn Owl. That's cool. Spiral Dive. Oh, how cool. Christmas Feast. Harry had never in his
Harry had never in all of his life had such a Christmas dinner. They had treacle tarts and puddings and all this such. And they had gifts and little firecrackers and such. Sweet. How lovely. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the pizza resistance. I mean, holy mackerel. You couldn't ask for a better pull. Oh, wow. All right, guys. I'm going to end the video here so I can sweat my way through figuring out how to clean the dust. There's like a couple little pieces of dust on the hologram up here. There's a couple little pieces of specks, and I think they're like pieces of the card dust. So I want to figure out what I can do about that without scratching anything, and then get this thing into like a top loader. I'm not much of like a grader. I used to do a lot of card grading. And I try not to think of that way when it comes to things I enjoy. I try not to think of everything in terms of PSA, because when you start to do that, it wrecks everything for you. But there's certain situations like this where you pull like a case hit or just something really cool, and it's like, yeah, you should probably grade that just because. Anyway, well, thank you for coming on this little tour with me. This is the first time I've opened up at least this many boosters of this product. And 10 points to Gryffindor. Have a good one.